Welcome to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com, where you'll never pay a service fee. Sports Bash is also brought to you by the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage, where every customer is considered family. Mention Sports Bash, get a free dessert with your meal, by the offices of Dr. Anthony Ippolito at Chiropractic Care Plus, located at 1 John Street in Babylon. Chiropractic Care Plus is the only choice when searching for Long Island chiropractors. Give Dr. Ippolito a call at 631-669-6221. By Bearcat Billing Service, your trusted partner in medical billing. Experience the Bearcat way, personal, professional, and tailored to your needs. Give Gary a call at 516-796-2400. Tell him Sports Bash sent you. By the Marty Lyons Foundation, the official charity of Sports Bash Media. For more information, go to martylyonsfoundation.org. And by Collaborate Studios, a content marketing production facility. For more info, call them at 516-509-8277. Good morning, everyone. I'm Peter Schwartz, joined by WizKid, who is in for Vinny Tickets. Hope everybody is having a great Labor Day weekend. And Wiz, good morning to you. And for me now, Labor Day always represents, well, a few things. Number one, we're now less than a week away from the start of the NFL season, so that's what is number one to me. The U.S. Open makes the turn for home this week with week 2 of the U.S. Open. And again, we're into September, so the baseball pennant race is heating up. So from a sports perspective, Labor Day's got a lot of meaning.
Absolutely. I'm very excited for this week, for not just the start of the NFL season. Hopefully the Falcons are on a good footing for Sunday. But outside of that, I am excited for the rest of the MLB season. With the final month to go, this is when the wild card division races all start heating up.
Absolutely. And NHL training camps are right around the corner. Later on in the show, we're going to hear from former Islanders forward Benoit Hogue, who I caught up with last week and also last Monday night at All Sports in Melville. Former Rangers goalie Mike Richter did a youth hockey clinic presented by Pioneer Sports and the Nassau County PAL. Had a chance to catch up with the man who backstopped the Rangers to the 1994 Stanley Cup.
Well, Mike, first of all, how excited are you for this clinic to be able to work with the kids that have come out here tonight?
I love it. I mean, these opportunities are rare for me, and I just remember being that age myself. Every chance I got, I was just saying, I grew up in Philadelphia, to get out on the ice and play. I had an older brother who was a goalie, just going out there and learning what to do, working on your trade. It's the best, and it really never changes.
And the thing is, a lot of these kids, or all of these kids, really weren't around when you played, but the Ranger fandom is passed down from generation to generation. Do you like it when the kids come up to you, my dad, my mom told me about what you did in '94?
Yeah, exactly, and that's what it has to be, because they are so young. They didn't get a chance to experience it. I've got 3 boys that are 24, 22, and 20, and they don't really remember me playing, but you can always kind of look back, right? I was just old enough to start to see the tail end of, a couple of the great goalies that they had, like Eddie Jockman, and just to see those guys and then to talk to them later is really fun. It's part of history.
Well, you grew up in Philadelphia. Did you try to emulate Flyers growing up when you started playing hockey?
Yeah, unfortunately, I probably wasn't tough enough to emulate Dave Schultz, but I loved Bernie Parent, Hall of Fame goalie, and 2 shutouts for 2 Stanley Cup wins. French-Canadian, cool as the day is long. I go to clinics with him around the Philadelphia area, so it's just incredibly motivating, and everybody starts out just as a fan. They love to play the game. Bernie did, Marty Brodeur did. I did. It's part of what you do as a little kid, and if you're lucky, you get to play for many, many years.
We just passed the 30th anniversary of the Stanley Cup in 1994. I know there was a lot of get-togethers around that. Is it hard to believe it's 30 years? Does it seem like it was just yesterday?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, life goes by so fast, and it's punctuated by those moments, and these guys are all, family, tight groups, but time goes by and you really want to take these moments to sort of look back. And when you're playing, all you're thinking about is that next game, that next season, that next win. And when you retire, you start to actually accumulate just more gratitude. Say, oh my God, was I lucky? There's a lot of kids, a lot of older, great players that don't get the chance to do it. We're lucky enough to do it.
When you think about that team, you had some growing pains because you had a couple of playoff disappointments, and then there was the one season in '93 that you didn't make the playoffs. You come right back and win the Cup. What was it like going through that maturation process with that team and then adding the key players, including a guy like Mark Messier?
Yeah, I just saw a quote that said, character is what you do in your third and fourth try. And I think anybody who played this game, you're going to get your backside handed to you once in a while. You're going to lose. You look at somebody that's supremely talented like, Connor McDavid, and it's not handed to you. You have to go and earn it, and it's always hard earned. And I think those times where you come up short, they're seared into your brain, into your consciousness in a way that nothing else can be, and you'll work a long time to get back to the top.
And all these years later, I'm sure it doesn't get old when fans come up to you and say, that was so awesome that year, thank you for everything. Does it get old 30 years later when people say that to you?
No, but I think the thing that's really changed is you recognize how much it means to the people around you. Honestly, it sounds trite, but it's the fans that pay your salary, that come to the games, that make the Garden fun, that make, the wars that we have with the Islanders so enjoyable. And, to be able to share that championship with them, you're wearing New York on there, you want to represent them well. And for looking back, you just go, wow, that's a big portion of people's lives. They put a lot of time, energy, and money into it like we did. And I was a fan when I grew up, and I know how much it meant to me. Now you can kind of look back and say, I'm glad we could return the favor once.
Now, this question comes from an Islanders fan that didn't enjoy watching you guys win in '94. How badly did you want to stop those 1940 chants?
It's unbelievable. And, when we were going to the playoffs, we won the President's Trophy that year. And the Islanders were the 8th place team. We're the first, and we took them very, very seriously. They were still a great team, and they had the ability to slay giants for sure. And so, man, we're going to have to figure out how to kind of kill some of the ghosts that have haunted us if we're going to go all the way. So that was a big test for us, and they scrapped and clawed. It was 4 games, but every one of them, including that last one, right up to the last minute of the game, was a war, and I think that's what you want.
We're here on Long Island, so it's a good time to ask the question. How much did you enjoy that rivalry with the Islanders over the years?
I had no idea how good it was, so I was talking to a friend in the league, and he played for Dallas, and he said, it's a little bit quiet going to Jersey or Islanders. I go, are you kidding me? That place is insane. And he's like, well, you're the Rangers, so you got that rivalry, and we're so lucky now because you have those 3 teams in such close proximity, and they're all good. They're all young, and they're all good. And hopefully, I think it's great for hockey. All 3 of them are kicking the crap out of each other and showing you great hockey, because that's what puts fannies in the seats.
So what do you think of the Ranger team going into this season after their run to the Cup fell a little short last year?
I think you have to fall short before you take that final stride, and it's not easy. It's tough to keep teams together now as a management group. The salary caps and the movement of the players and the demands and the agents. It's a little different than it was 30 years ago when I played. But in the end, you have to put a talented team together that have to figure out how to work together and be better than the sum of their parts. And the Rangers are figuring that out. They have such talent. They're fantastic in net. They're incredibly well coached. It's a really well-managed organization right now. They just have to get some experience and a little toughness, and they'll be fine.
Now, you can't tell the story about Rangers hockey over the last 40 or so years without Sam Rosen, their longtime television play-by-play announcer, and obviously everybody will remember how he called you guys winning the Stanley Cup, that this one will last a lifetime. He announced he's going to retire after this season. As a former Ranger and a big member of the Ranger alumni, what did you think about Sam Rosen as a broadcaster, and how much will he be missed?
Retiring already is all I could think. No, he's such a part of not just the Ranger organization, our entire family. You live and breathe with these guys all throughout the year. They understand the ups and downs. Think how grueling that schedule is, and he's still doing that 40-some years later. The guy has been an enormous part of the organization. He's been positive. He's been supportive. He's been professional every step of the way. So nobody who's met Sam in that organization and outside of it doesn't love him as a real friend, and he is a genuinely true professional. He'll be missed. It'll be very hard to fill that up because he is not just the voice of the Rangers. He's the vibe of the organization. But all great things have to come to an end, so we're going to savor him this year. He has his farewell tour, and love every minute of it, and wish him well.
And the last thing, this clinic tonight put on by Pioneer Sports and the PAL, and a lot of kids are here tonight. What's your big message to kids that are starting out playing hockey that have the same dreams that you had?
The hard part is you really, you can have all the motivation in the world, but find a way to enjoy it, right? Because if you're going to take that final step and get to the pros, it is going to require so much work. If you don't love what you do, you won't get up in the morning and put everything you have into it. So these kids, whether you're 6 years old or 36, always carve out a sense of enjoyment, work as hard as you possibly can, and leave nothing on the table.
Awesome, Mike. Thank you so much.
Our thanks to Mike Richter for a couple of minutes at a great all-sports event. And Wiz, it was just, from a Rangers perspective, so many kids were wearing these imitation Ranger jerseys that he gave out that night at the clinic, and they had the lights turned out to introduce him. It was wonderful to see these kids, and they never saw him play, but they heard Mom and Dad talking about him, and he was such a big part of that Rangers Stanley Cup team.
I'm surprised you didn't get a jersey for yourself.
They offered me one. I declined politely. If I was a real nasty guy, I would have done something with it, but it was a nice event, and I just left it at that. How about that?
Well, at least you kept it cordial.
So the next night, I had to cleanse myself, and I interviewed a former Islander. Benoit Hogue is going to join us on the show when we come back with more Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com, when we come back right after this. Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. I'm Peter Schwartz, joined by WizKid Vinny, filling in for Vinny Tickets on this Labor Day. Again, thanks to former Rangers goalie Mike Richter for spending some time with me last week at his clinic at All Sports in Melville on Long Island. And it always struck me about him. I covered a lot of Ranger games back in the day. He was always so nice to talk to. And I don't think he remembered me, but I certainly remember great conversations with him, and he was so nice, and he was just so good with the kids and even the adults that brought their kids to that event last week, and a first-class individual.
That sounds great.
Also backstopped the United States to the 1996 World Cup of Hockey Championship. So there was one instance where I really rooted hard for Mike Richter when he represented the United States of America. That was last Monday at All Sports. The next night at All Sports, the Islanders held a very nice event, a family fun event, kids of all ages. The kids got to go on the deck hockey rink, play some hockey. Islanders brought their inflatable shooting target. A great night, and former Islander Benoit Hogue, who was a part of the Pat LaFontaine trade back in the day, helped the Islanders get to the conference championship in 1993. He was there as well, and I had a chance to catch up with the former Islander Benoit Hogue.
Benoit, for you to be in an event like this as a former Islander and see all these kids having a good time here at time playing hockey, how much fun is this for you?
Well, it brings me back to my childhood. We didn't have the places like that, but we used to do it on the street. So we used to have, like, I was just telling somebody earlier that we used to have our neighborhood games in different neighborhoods, but we didn't have the ring like this. And now seeing all the kids get involved in deck hockey and then learning hockey skills, it's great to see.
There's a few deck hockey facilities like this on Long Island. How cool is it for a kid who may not be ready to get on skates to be able to get a chance to sample the game and enjoy the game of hockey in a venue like this?
Well, I think skating is the hardest part. When you're a young kid, you get, like you say, you have to learn how to skate this. You can work your hand skills. You can work, like, your game situation, passing and stuff like this until you can be strong enough to skate. So I think transition to the ice, and now you learn skating, you already have those skills. So that's a good start.
I know we had talked a few months ago about being here on Long Island, and you came here and had some great seasons for the Islanders, and then you left, but you always called Long Island home. What was it about being here that made you want to be a full-time resident on Long Island?
Well, actually, when I left the Islanders, I always came back. So people maybe thought that I left for years, but when I got traded to Toronto in '95, I just came back the next summer. So people weren't aware. Some people would see me and go, "You Benoit Hogue?" And I always came back here, and I've been here ever since. So I loved it here. I think I had great years. I met a lot of great people, and I just had to make my home on Long Island. Just works.
That '93 run was so magical. Came out of nowhere. Really, you guys knock out the Capitals, and then you take out the Penguins, and obviously that was an unbelievable series. When you think back to that spring, how special was it for you when you think back on your career?
Well, it was special because it was really the first kind of playoff run that I had. Being in Buffalo for 4 years, we didn't have such a run, and coming here with the Islanders and having that run in '93, and especially, beating Washington first to face the Stanley Cup defending champion, it was going to be a big task, and we did it. So it's memories that I still talk to fans about it, even former players in that year, that we always go back to that year's how much fun that we had and the intensity of the game. So that's a great memory for me on Long Island.
David Volek scores that overtime goal, and that season he was in and out of Al's doghouse the whole year. And for him to get that game-winning goal, when you think back on it, how crazy was that?
Well, I think it could have happened to a better guy. Like I said, he was in and out. David was a different personality, but for him to get that goal, we were all shocked because they finally went in. And the puck came to him, he shot it right away, he placed it. But David was always a good goal scorer. He was fast, he could score goals, and it's just the timing that happened. Ray McFarland made a great pass, and to end the series on David Volek's goal, I think it was exciting.
How about the current Islanders coming off a trip to the playoffs last year? I know you still follow them very closely as an alum. What do you think of the current team? And it looks like on paper, at least, they have a better roster than they did last year.
Well, I think they're coming along. I think, we had so many years that was up and down, and now we had a coaching change this year, bring Patrick Waugh, and, he wants to win. He's a winner. And then, now the players that are coming, they can have, from the beginning of the season, a responsibility and be accountable for the team, with their game. So, but they have young players. I think it's just to put the chemistry together and believe in one another, and they can make good playoffs.
They add Duclair maybe to that first line with Barzal and Horvat. That has a chance to be a pretty good line.
Yeah, Duclair's got speed. He's got size. He's got speed. He's been around the league for a while, so he's going to bring maybe that intensity that everybody's going to have to follow, and that's when your competition comes up. It comes up because you follow the next leader and the next leader, and then that's how you win hockey games.
What do you look forward to when you see the kids on the rink here? I'm sure they all come up to you. You former Islander, former NHL player, and a lot of these kids are playing hockey. Well, what's the most common question you get, and what's your advice to these kids that are starting out playing?
Well, I just got on, and a couple kids asked me, goes, "When did you play?" And then I told them when I played. And he was stunned. And then there's a little girl, she goes, "When did you retire?" And I say 2002. And she was like, "I'm like, you weren't born back then." But no, it's great. Listen, I answer a question. I coach little kids. It's the same thing. They asked me when I play, I retired. It's like me, back in Montreal, back in the days, talking to a guy that played in the 1940s almost, But I enjoy it. They love the game. They know the Islanders. They follow their fans. Mm-hmm. It's all good.
I was going to ask you about coaching, how much you love doing it right now with the kids.
I like it. I'm up to, my team is a 16U now, and I took it 3 years ago, and I didn't know if I was going to do it that long. I was going to do it to help them out, but I enjoy it. I'm a great player, great families, and I've been riding with them for 3 years now, and then we're coming up to the next, the fourth year, and I really enjoy it. I enjoy getting on the ice with them. I enjoy teaching them. They respect me, and I do the same thing. I respect my players, and like I said, we work all together to win hockey games, so it's a lot of fun.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Special thanks to former Islander Benoit Hogue, who joined me at the Islanders Family Fun event at All Sports in Melville on Long Island last week. When fans cheer for a player, they have an affectionate nickname. So like I'm thinking of like Barzy now. Fans will yell for Matthew Barzal. They'll yell Barzy, right? When Benoit Hogue came to the Islanders, he became such a fan favorite, and they really couldn't come up with a catchy name. So he was one of the few players in sports history where the fans loved him so much they chanted his whole name. So he would score a big goal for the Islanders, and the whole Coliseum would yell Benoit Hogue. That was the chant, because there wasn't really anything else. They couldn't come up with something a little bit more. Nothing fit, so it was just Benoit Hogue.
Well, the name flows very well. So I'd say, yeah, why not? Benoit Hogue! Yeah, Benoit Hogue! It sounds fun.
No, that was pretty good. I like that. And that's what 16,000 people were chanting when he would score a big goal. And he was a big part. And it was funny when Pat LaFontaine forced a trade, he was a holdout the year before, and the Islanders basically had to trade him. Bill Torrey trades him to Buffalo, and Pierre Turgeon was the centerpiece of the return. But the Islanders also got Benoit Hogue and Huey Krupp, two big cogs of that 93 team back in that trade. And then 3 years later, Hogue was traded away to Toronto, which was just awful. I mean, he should have been an Islander for the rest of his career, but he still calls Long Island home. All these years later, even when he played for other teams, he still called Long Island home. Really quick, Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. We post a new poll question every weekday on the Sports Bash Media X/Twitter page. How many times should in the regular season, should the Islanders and Rangers play? 3, 4, 6, or 8?
I think what they do okay with like 4. I think that's fine. If they were to ever expand,
I'd like to see 6.
Ideally, it could be 6, but I think just in terms of like divisional alignment, it makes sense for 4.
And I'm sorry I didn't leave you with a lot of time, but really quick, 30 seconds this day in sports history.
Well, there's no hockey, unfortunately, but on this day in 2019, Justin Verlander had his third and, at the moment, final no-hitter. It was the second one he had against the Toronto Blue Jays, but his first one as a Houston Astro. That was a 2-0 game, and I remember that very vividly because I was setting up for the next year of Hofstra.
Awesome. Great job filling in for Vinny Tickets. He's WizKid Vinny. I'm Peter Schwartz. Thanks for watching and listening to the show. Tomorrow, it's a free ticket Tuesday here on Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. Sports Bash is sponsored by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, Dr. Anthony Ippolito at Chiropractic Care Plus, by Bearcat Billing Service, the Marty Lyons Foundation, and Collaborate Studios. For our entire crew, I'm Peter Schwartz saying thank you for watching and listening. Enjoy the rest of your Labor Day weekend. Sports Bash will return Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow morning.